Hello, I'm Darshak Bhatt and I welcome you all to this quick video walkthrough on a trading strategy for intraday traders. We'll be using opening range breakout trade strategy and we'll try to automate that using n8n as our automation platform. We have used Upstox as our candlestick data provider, and Google Sheets will be our control center to analyze a trade and execute if needed. Right, so this I'm recording during live market hours. It's almost 12:40 p.m. IST, and I will be running this automation with Reliance as our stock for this demo purposes. Right, so this is our playground. Right, if you look at this automation trigger attribute column, you will see that it has three values in the drop down. One is check trade, one is done, one is trade idea. So right now it's on trade idea, and to trigger the automation we would want to change this to check trade. So once you do check trade, you would see all the prices, all the details being populated in this other column attributes. So right now, for the purpose of this demo, I have kept this automation in an inactive state so that I can execute the workflow manually and walk you through it step by step. So let me just change this to check trade. So once you do check trade, in ideal scenario the automation would trigger, but since it is in inactive state, I will be executing it manually. And mind you that this we are doing it during live market hours, so we would also cross verify it with this stock chart again. This is from Upstox. So this is the 15-minute chart. So 15-minute chart is useful to determine the opening range. From the first candle itself we'll be able to determine the opening range and where are we with the price and trade, etc. So let's just run this automation. Let's just execute this workflow and see what data is being populated. So yeah, the workflow is running now. As you see, the automation trigger has happened. It has passed the values. Now the agent, it's right now on the agent. We have fetched the candlestick data from Upstox API, and here you go, the value 1540.9. Let's really quickly check the actual market value for Reliance. It's 1540.9, and what we've got is 1540.9, and this is live market, guys. As you can see from the screen recording, right, the data is moving. It's 1540.9, and yes, see, it became 1540.8. This is a 15-minute chart. If I change it to 1 minute, let's see how quickly this moves. And the RSI value is also showing as 43.27 currently. Let's see how what is the RSI value that we've got in our trade. 43.9, and right now it's 43.27. So we've got almost near about same, and again we have to be mindful that RSI keeps changing. As you see, it became 42.33. With every tick the RSI will change, right? So yes, the data is correct. ORB breakout breakdown is cited as false and the trade decision as no trade. Let's just try to make sense of this by looking at the reason. It says no trade signal. Current price 1540 is trading within the opening range between ORB high of 1550, ORB low of 1542.1. Now you must be thinking that 1540.9 is below 1542. Still, it is not showing it as a breakup or a breakdown. Why is that so? And the range value also it has detected correctly. As you can see, the range of 7.9. It's a simple math formula. But now the real reason is why, if it's a breakdown, it is showing as no trade. This is because we've added a lot of filters for our automation, right? For our agent to understand or to determine. If I open this real quick, this is the system prompt, which is the core of this automation, right? So we would need a confirmation, a concrete confirmation of a breakup or a breakdown, and if we do not get that, it will show as no trade and avoid false signals, right? I will walk you through this in details when we go through individual nodes. Again, let's just add another automation real quick. Let's just try to analyze Bajaj Financial Service. Let me just type this, Bajaj FinServ. Here you go. This will be automatically populated, and I will put this automation trigger to check trade. And now again, let's just try to execute the workflow and check what data we are getting. But before that, it's important for us to pull the Bajaj Financial Fin Services chart, so that We have it ready when the automation triggers, and I'm again executing the workflow. The automation has begun. As you see, one item, which is Bajaj Finserv, has been parsed and passed, and Upstox has pulled in the data. Right now the agent is analyzing it. It has called the GPT, and now the agent will throw some outputs for us, and the outputs will then be parsed. It is getting stored in simple memory. As you can see in here, this has been successful. Now the agent has passed and the data has been updated in here. Let's just quickly check the price, 2015, and now let's just try to verify 2015, right? It's again matching. This is a quick mover, 2015.1, and we are getting 2015.7. As I said, this is a quick mover, so that is a little bit of variance in a few seconds as that we are seeing, right? Let's again try to look at the opening range breakout. See, now this has concretely given us that yes, it's a breakout or a breakdown, right? 2015. Let's just check why, if it's a breakdown, still the trade decision is said as avoid, right? So if you see breakdown detected, so it has shown that the current price of 2015.7 broke below ORB low of 2030.7. Let's just try to again study the ORB low of this stock. This is a quick mover, guys. So yeah, uh, 17th of December. Let me just try to zoom this a little bit. 17th of December, 9:15. So this is the first candle, 15-minute candle, which will give us the ORB range. You see the opening price of 2035, high of 2044, low of 2030. So the range will be 2044 to 2030, and that's what it is detected. 2044 2030.7. So that's the range which it has detected precisely. Again, from the chart you can see 2044 2030.7, 2044 2030.7. So the range has been detected, all right, and it has given us RSI analysis, ADX analysis, volume analysis, and signal strength is shown as medium. No cautionary notes as of now, but this still it has not allowed us to trade. Why is that so? Let's just see. It is saying that however opening gap of 0.96 is within tolerance, RSI at 26 is near oversold and acceptable. ADX at 16.42 indicates weak trend strength. Fails threshold of 18. So we've added an ADX threshold of 18 plus. Only then we will be initiating the trade on the buy or the sell side. And so for those reasons, since ADX value detected is just 16.42, it is not allowing us to trade. Additionally, 80% of the opening range candles have wick ratio 40%, greater than 40%. So we've also added this parameter wherein if I look at this 3-minute chart of Bajaj Finserv and get to the opening, you see 9:15. Do you see this long wick formations? So whenever there are long wick formations, let me just try to zoom this so that you have better view. Yeah, do you see this large wicks here formed during the opening candles? So this is the first candle of the day. Yeah, this is the first candle of the day, which has a large opening wick. The second candle has a large opening wick. Third candle has a, a big opening wick, relatively smaller than the previous two, but then the third one has a very large opening, trading candle wick, and so has the fifth one. So all of these opening range candles has got a large wick to body ratio, and so for those reasons it is saying that additionally 80% of opening range candles have large wick ratios, indicating substantial indecision. Trade avoided due to failed ADX and wick filters despite valid breakdown. So Bajaj Fin Services is a great example because it detected opening range breakout, still the trade decision was maintained as avoid with all these reasons cited. And since the trade decision is avoid, it will not give you entry price, target, stop loss, position sizing, etc. Now let us dive into what I've done in this automation and why is this so beautifully coming out. Alright, so this is the automation. Automation trigger is this control sheet which acts as a trigger to initiate our workflow, and only if the automation trigger column attribute has checked trade, it checked that Bajaj Finserv had checked trade in this automation trigger, and it passed it to the other node. Then the third node is the passing the instrument value, right? So instrument value, what is instrument value first? So instrument value is what Upstox API requires for us to fetch details on anything we want, right? So then I've also done in split in batches. So what does split in batches mean, right? So in this automation sheet, you can see, so I add all these other trades and I do check trade for all. So in that case, split in batches, what it does is it basically, of the three values which would be passed, then it would split that in batches of one, right? So we need batches of one to execute, and then what we'll need to do in that case is we'll need to again pull this last node and again take it back to split in batches, and it will automatically take the second in batch and the third in batch, so on and so forth. But for this demo purposes, I have not added anything. So this is what it basically means. Now this is HTTP request that we are making for the Upstox API, and as you see that API Upstox market code, this is the JSON instrument key which we are pulling in from in here, right? And we are making two API calls in Upstox. One is to get the last price, right, which is this one, 2015 in this case for Bajaj Finserv, and one is for the candlestick data, the 3-minute candlestick data. So these are the two API calls we are requesting from Upstox, and you need to be mindful of that what needs to be dynamically passed, right? Because right now you see NSE and instrument key is this one, right? Which is for Bajaj Finserv. But what we might need is, instead of Bajaj Finserv, when we were running Reliance, we would have a dynamic instrument key, right? So for dynamic values, what we do is we drag and drop the output from the previous node and paste it in here, right? And it shows the dynamic instrument key here. So since I've already added it, I'll remove it for the time being, and yep, I'll move on to the next step. So this gives us all this candlestick data. If you check this output, let me just widen this. Yeah, if you look at all this output, these are all the outputs throughout the day with timestamp. So this is the first candle, and all of this is a 3-minute candle, which is what I've requested in this API. You see minutes slash 3. So it's a 3-minute candle. I can do it for 5 minutes, I can do it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever Upstox provides, right? But for this demo sake, I have kept it 3 minutes. And also for the ORB strategy, I would I want to, since I want to analyze the wick body ratio and all of these things, I am keeping it as 3 minutes. I can also pull it down to 1 minute, but then that would increase my processing time and the token usage would increase, and so the cost would also increase. So for those reasons, 3 minute is a perfect match, and that's what I have used. Alright, so the next nodes is, once we have all this data, I merge this data, right? I combine this data. So this is similar. Merging is basically, I'll just quickly show you. I'm appending both these data points, right? The first is for the last price and the volume, and the second is for all the 3-minute candlesticks, right? Data. Once I merge this, what I do is I combine it. Why do I do this right now is I want it to be in a format, as you see in the if you see the output here, this is more structured format, right? It has the instrument key, company name, company symbol. So this I can dynamically pass it later to in the next node. I can pass it to the agent and ask a GPT to analyze it, right? So this is the reason why I do this, why I perform this step. The next is where everything is, right? All the analysis takes place, which is the ORB trading strategy. This is our agent, and for this agent we use OpenAI chat model and a simple memory just to store previous outputs. So if I open this, this is where the entire analysis happened, right? So if I open this, you see that right now I'm using ChatGPT 4 model, latest one, but given the use case, I might want to use more complex models. But again, you have to be mindful. A quick detour, this whatever your use case may be, you need to understand what are the families of ChatGPT, and within each family, what is the model which would be sufficing your use case. For this one, I have used 4.0 latest because I have done a lot of prompting. I've done a lot of system prompting, so it has to give me more of reasoning. And as you see here, the specialization of this model is on the multimodal reasoning part, so which suffices my need. And also in terms of the cost, it would be a little lesser compared to, let's say, GPT-5 Codex or GPT-5 Pro. So be mindful. And also, since new models keep coming, the latest models will have a lot of rate limits, so you need to be mindful of not hitting the rate limits much. So that's a quick detour on how to choose the models. And if you want me to append this sheet, I can download and add it in the details section. Just comment ChatGPT model sheet, and I will append it for you guys. All right, now let's get back to the automation. So this is the quick reasoning why I have chosen GPT 4.0 latest. Now again, let me go back to the canvas. Let me open this agent. So this is where the entire game is. I have two messages, right, which defines how the output comes to be. One is the user message, which is the prompt, and one is the system message or the system prompt. The system prompt is the most important aspect of this trading strategy. Let me open that real quick. So what I've done is, I can if you want this prompt, comment that give me system prompt, I will add a PDF file for your review. You are an ORB trading analysis agent specialized in processing live market candlestick data, calculating technical indicators, generating structured trading signals with precise mathematical accuracy. Your core responsibilities, I've added core responsibilities, uh, like parsing and validating all the data, calculating the required technical indicators, identifying the opening ranges, determining breakout breakdown statuses based on price ORB levels, applying multiple filters, RSI, ADX, gap, volume, wick analysis, and then scoring the signal strength. After the signal strength has been scored, calculating the trade parameters, entry, target, stop loss, etc. So this is all the task which the LLM would be doing for us. And then I've added a systematic flow of events, right? So first is the step one, which is data parsing and opening range identification. I will not get into the details, right? You can pause it and look at all the details, or you can request in comments section that you need the system prompt, and I'll make sure you get it in there. Once this is done, this is the opening range extraction, this is the opening range statistics. So all this is the step one. Then is the technical indicator calculations, which is the step two. Then I've done this is where I calculate RSI, ADX, average gain, average loss. I also calculate the wick, width, etc. And all of these things, edge cases, gap percentages, volume analysis. So all of these things are being calculated. Wick analysis is being calculated. Step three, right? So then is the breakout or breakdown detection. Once all the technical parameters have been calculated, I'm prompting the LLM to now go on and calculate current price and ORB levels. Do you remember at the start of the video, even when Reliance was 1 point below its opening range, it still showed it as no breakout or no breakdown? This is because I've added this prompt in particular, wherein I have mentioned the LLM to make sure we have a 0.1% buffer. So breakout threshold has to be high into 0.001, which is 0.1%, and breakdown threshold has to be low into 0.999. And then there are filter applications, RSI validation. If RSI is over 75, then the filter status will be failed. If RSI is below 25, again we will not get trade approval because it's below threshold during the breakdown part. Again, then there's ADX. ADX has to be above 18 for us to initiate trade because it shows some trading momentum. Else it is a weak trend, and we do not want to get on in a weak trend. Then we have a gap validation. If we have from the previous closing 2% plus minus gap up or gap down happens, then we will be invalidating the ORB setup. So all these are risk mitigations which have been added, wick validations have been added, signal strength scoring has been added. So if there is gap or body strength of 1%, then you reduce the score by 15. If the breakout candle wick body ratio is above 50%, you reduce the score by 10. Volume bonus, if the volume analysis shows high, then add 10 to score. And strong volume confirmation, opening range wick penalty. So all this scoring has been added. Final strength categorization has been put into place, and then the step trade decision logic. So this is the decision tree that has been added, and below that final step is 7. Step 7 shows the trade parameters calculation, the entry price, stop loss price, etc., and the target price. So all this has been added, and then the step 8 output formatting, what we want in the output, right? So LLMs can get messy, right? So without a proper JSON, it would give me output in any sort, which would be difficult for me to parse and put it in our master sheet, which is the equity automation sheet. Also, yeah, this is the guidelines or the guardrails which becomes important. What happened, we need to understand breakdown statuses, price levels. So this is all the guidelines which I've mentioned to allow trade examples. I've also added some examples and on what trades to allow and what trades to disallow. Then I've also added edge cases and error handling. So this is a very detailed prompting, and these are all the behavioral constraints which I've also added as the final note, that do not make up indicator values, do not skip filter checks, do not provide trading advice beyond signal analysis, do not output explanatory text. So this prevents LLM from hallucinating. You can call it as basic evals or constraints, right? Rather, that we've added. Once all of this is done, imagine a person manually checking all of this would take a lot of time. Since LLM is doing it, we get the output in a few seconds, right? And we actually saw that at the start of the video. So this is the power of automation, guys, within stock markets. And once this LLM gives us the output, then the next step is parsing the output. So I've parsed the output such that it is in a digestible format. So this is the LLM output, right, in a paragraph format, which is parsed to getting the tabular format in JSON, right? Once the parsing is done, then this is where we match all the data. This is truly important, guys, because if you want, if you run the automation, if you've set up your automation, but if you're not passing the correct value to the correct column attribute, it will be all over the place. And as a user, I do not want to get into the automation workflow part. All I want is, as a user, I want my data to flow in here as smooth as possible. So that is where the mapping is really crucial. And as you see this, all these green, these are all dynamic matching, right? So what we do is, once I just show you this instrument key. So we use instrument key as the main column to match on, and these are the columns that will be updated, right? If you see instrument key, I'll just remove it for the time being. And what I'll do is to show you how we match. You see this input value for this particular node is the parsed value output from the previous node. So this parsed ORB agent output node has instrument key as we had requested it explicitly, that we'll drag and drop to this instrument key using to match. And you see the dynamic result, and this is what will get populated in our sheet. Similarly, if you look at the last price, right, 2015.7, this is for Bajaj Finserv. We added in the last price, right? So let me remove this and show it to you. Right now it shows as empty, but now when I put it here as last price, 2015.7, and then I'll have to execute and save, which we've already done it, and that's why we get last price as 2015.7. So this is how we match all the details and get this automation set up, right? So now the most important part is, this is just how we can get it done in a sheet. What if I'm getting a trade signal, right, as trade, buy or sell, then what further can be done is I can further add a filter routing logic basis on this sheet's data. If the attribute column of trade decision shows as buy or sell, then I can route it through different API calls from Upstox, and Upstox will then trade or place the trades on my behalf, and all of this can be done within this automation. But just to avoid getting more complex in this first video on the setup, I have avoided it, but definitely it can be done. So for Upstox right now, the question is, what do I need to do on Upstox? Let me just quickly open. Yeah, so this is the Upstox developer API documentations. You can find everything in here, right? What values you need to pass, right? You need to pass get to v3, what you need to do, and I know on top of this you can run a copilot and get exact details that needs to be put in your fetch call. And you will need an API. So you see this, I have a new app which has n8n automation 1 connected. So this was the data I had connected on. I have the API key in here, I have the API secret here, I have the access token here. That's about it. If you like this, if you want this trading automation, you want to try it yourself, you can request it in the comments. I hope this was insightful, intuitive, and helpful for all the traders out there. Thank you for staying till the end of this video, and I request you to please like, share, subscribe, and happy trading, guys. Thank you.